Welcome back to the show. We have Senator Bill Cassidy in studio. Thank you for being here so early in the morning.
Hey, Jessica, thank you. Good to be with you.
A lot going on, and we've been talking about tariffs. That's kind of a buzzword that's been going on for the past few weeks. On that policy from the Trump administration, do you think tariffs are necessary? What do you think the best plan of action is going forward?
Well, you can see how he used them originally to say to Mexico, listen, if you don't control that border, we're going to put 25% tariffs on you. Now, we'd had millions of people, literally millions of people coming across that southern border, fentanyl coming across that southern border. And I mentioned the fentanyl because everybody watching right now knows of someone who has been affected by fentanyl. And the first thing he did with those tariffs was to get Mexico to break up those cartels, to stop those migrants, to go after the fentanyl. So you can see there he used the tariffs very effectively. Now I'm hoping that it's just as effective now. I don't want prices going up for people who have been fighting inflation for the last 4 years. The president seems to think that it won't. Let's hope that he's right.
Right, and farming, that's a big agriculture boost for us here in Northeast Louisiana, so the impact on farmers could be great too.
Yeah, and Jessica, what you're saying is that sometimes when China wants to push back upon the tariffs that the U.S. puts on them, they put tariffs on farm products. And our farm products, a lot of it goes to China. So if suddenly China starts buying from Brazil instead of from us, it's going to hurt people who are close to us.
And I did see something too about the BRIC program. You're pushing for BRIC funding to continue. That's the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities program.
Yeah, so this place flooded in 2016,
right, twice.
And so what happened under the first Trump administration, they put in a rule that 6% of disaster funding should be built to prevent future, should be spent to prevent future flooding. That's good for us.
Right.
And then in the bipartisan infrastructure bill, I got another $1 billion put in that would further accelerate that. Louisiana's done very well with that funding. The Trump administration came in and said, we're going to cut that. I called them up. I said, wait a second, you can't cut that. One, it's in the law, but two, it's helping our people. They reassured me, no, the money's going to go out. They just are afraid the Biden administration put rules in that are not good, but they're going to put that money out there, and projects that have begun will complete, and they'll have more projects coming in the future.
So it's not something that, the community should be concerned about?
Well,
necessarily.
You always want to be vigilant, but I will be vigilant. I am so aware that so much of my state flooded in 2016 and in the South even since then, and I am committed to making sure that we decrease that risk.
And then the Louisiana legislative session just started this week. What are some priorities that you hope our state focuses on?
Well, our state needs to build for the future. We need to make our state a place where people move to.
Right.
I was just in Farmerville last night, and I said to my friend, tell me about, what would you say most about Union Parish? And she said, it's a great place to live. Okay. We want Louisiana to be known as a great place to live. That this is some place where you stay, you raise your kids, you have your grandkids, and they grow up attending a Louisiana college, not a Texas college.
Right.
And so I'm all about that. And so I want that legislature to pursue those policies. What creates better paying jobs in our state? What takes the money from the infrastructure bill, which I worked so hard to get, and make sure it gets used wisely to build the roads, the bridges, the internet, etc. We can make our state better. I want them to help.
Which we definitely need the infrastructure, the roads, the bridges, like you mentioned, for Meta. That's coming to Richland Parish.
Absolutely. And so, but you're also going to see stuff from the infrastructure bill, for example, widening of certain parts of I-20.
Okay.
Every parish will be getting a road, a bridge replaced from the infrastructure bill. And some parishes more, obviously. The bigger the parish, the more likely you get something. Sewer and water projects. Every town has a sewer and water problem. So we want that infrastructure money to take our state and build it to the place that, what a great place to live.
One of my last questions for you this morning. You were at the Union Parish Awards last night. What did you learn about Northeast Louisiana that maybe you didn't know before? I know you just mentioned that conversation with a friend of yours, and what do you think we need more of here?
Yeah, so it is a vibrant community. One, you drive up, and of course I've been to Lake D'Arbonne. It's just so beautiful. But there's 500 people there with a very active healthcare sector, very active business sector, good community involvement. That's wonderful. Not people staying at home and you don't have a crowd. No, 500 people. And our whole state needs that. The I-20 corridor from Texas to Mississippi, from Shreveport to Monroe, has the ability and the progress to become even better than it is. And that's what I'm seeing up and down the I-20. And by the way, When I'm in Washington and folks call me and say, will you help me with this bridge? Will you help me with this community center? Will you help me with this youth center? I'm a yes, 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 because I want North Louisiana to do well.
And to prosper. And of course, we'll continue to talk to you about that prosperity. Thank you so much for being here this morning early.
Thank you, Jessica.